Alrighty, boys, we're back in the trenches of the Tailworlds forums. It's been a while since I did one of these. Last time I did it, a lot of people had differing opinions, but I thought I should do one of these. They have dev replies, that's why I'm doing it. If I didn't have a dev reply, I don't really do those type of posts anymore where there's no dev reply, because it's a bunch of, most of the time, nonsense. But this one has gotten a lot of a lot of replies and a lot of dev replies as well. So I wanted to kind of read about it, see what it's all about, and give my 2 cents on it. But yeah, let's do it. Like always, the first link down below, playlist for the most up-to-date Bannerlord news, updates, and all of that. So let's do it. Alrighty, so the title of this post, your opinion on Tailworld's no confirmed information on upcoming patch content policy. Alrighty, so before I even dive into any of that, as far as I'm aware, there is no policy for this. It's just they have, decided to share some things that are coming in the future through their future posts and also through their development videos. And also they keep some stuff as a surprise, which I agree with. I think it's a good way to do it. I think you kind of show off the major things they're working on, which you can see on the post where, like, let me see if I could find it. I think it's the one here. Yeah, literally this right over here. So, this right over here, it's quoted right over here. I don't have the link for it right now, but it's a full post on the forums. You can easily find it just looking by the forums for like 2 seconds. And it's a post that shows off all the big stuff that they're working on, but at the same time, they do not actually show every single change that's coming, which I think, doesn't really need to be shown, in my opinion. That is my opinion. All right, let's do it. All right, so the person who made this thread says, my personal view is that the negative effect of this policy, not a policy, on the community far outweighs the need for limiting of expectations or whatever. Okay. If patch content shifts and changes and things are delayed, such taken out of the coming patch, people would absolutely be able to handle that. False, 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 false. See, look, I don't mean to play devil's advocate, but one of the huge things that was a problem when Bannerlord was released was all the cut content. So the notion that now people will be able to handle it when in the past it has been shown that people on the forums have not been able to handle it, it's kind of a far reach, in my opinion. Then he says, but the almost no info at all policy in combination with long waiting times just leads to toxicity and frustration. What do you think? Alrighty, so I think that toxicity and frustration comes from one side. It does not come from the dev side. The devs are telling you what is, what they're telling you. I feel that the toxicity and frustration comes from the people wanting certain things and not receiving it in a timely order. This is not due to what the devs do. This is due to the personal people's opinion of what they should expect. And then their, negative attitudes form based on those opinions. You can't blame an outside source for your frustration. Look, I lived through a little bit, of my life at this point. I've gotten older, had a child, have gone through very hard times, and I've realized that, stuff will be thrown at you, situations will be thrown at you, and you can act in many ways, but even at the worst situations, you becoming frustrated, you becoming angry, you acting out in a certain way, it still comes back to your responsibility and how you dealt with the situation. That's just how it is. Blaming an outside source for your frustration, at times, yes, it's warranted, but in this situation, not really, in my opinion. Yeah, we're not gonna read this. He's already muted again. That's funny. This guy stays muted. All right, let's move on to the dev replies. What is this? So he quoted the whole thing. People would handle it just fine, and then you see what I'm saying? Literally, the second post is him complaining how when the game first came out, for people to play, it was full of lies, and as you can see, it was full of lies because there was cut content. So as you can see, people can't handle it. Literally 10 minutes after this, someone has written up a whole essay on how they can't handle it. That's tough. That's tough. I don't know what to say about that. I'm not gonna. I'm be honest with you. I'm not gonna read everything. I'm just gonna give my little 2 cents on it. Okay. But Dev says while he, this person right over here, muted, leans towards one side of the spectrum. My personal impression is that people in general do expect that Discuss has shown content that they want / care makes it into the game ASAP or certainly on time. Yeah, definitely. Regardless of how many work in progress or demo disclaimers might and could be added. Indeed, they there will even be rather passionate arguments that there is a right to the content that was not explicitly promised. This was in the previous title. Exactly. A lot of conversation about stuff that was in Warband that should be in Bannerlord. And don't get me wrong, before everyone's like, oh, you're just taking their side. I think a lot of features in Warband should be added to Bannerlord. I do agree with people on the forums on that. I just think the way that people on the forums go about stating that is not the best way. AKA this, if you want to pause this and read what he has to say. Because I'm pretty sure these are all the things that he's been saying since the game has been launched. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. In a similar vein, even this much smaller scope of what will be in the patch has had its episodes of rather passionate reactions. Yes, that is true. Again, I don't mean to call anybody out on the forums. I'm not going to call anybody out by name. But I think there are a lot of young people or a lot of, I guess, older people who are not as mature and do not have, I guess, I don't mean to say this in any wrong way. Don't get me wrong if you're one of these people. You don't have a lot of responsibilities in your life. Therefore, you kind of just focus on just this game. Your whole, I'm not going to say your whole life has become this game, but a huge portion has become this game. Which, I see nothing wrong with that if it's a positive. But since it's a negative and it makes you into a very toxic person, it's not very good for you. I'm just saying. Don't mean to offend nobody, but I'm just saying. There's better ways to spend your time. There's better ways to, make it into a positive. That's all I'm saying. Then he says, regardless of how justified any of these positions are, okay, they do exist and must be taken into account. I disagree. I think people who are unhinged shouldn't be taken into account, in my opinion. But, that is my opinion. What else do we got from the devs? We have another player saying, same guy. He says, and that has nothing to do with the Terrell's policy to not talk about anything related to the upcoming patches and delays of the upcoming patch. Also, it's true. Okay, I don't know what that means. Then we have another player saying, if patch content shifts and changes and things are delayed. Okay, he's just reiterating what he just said. Okay, that's okay. All right, again, person who was muted, he states, this company even says thanks for the third delay information post after the last update was released 3 months ago. Do you really think this company here will start a hate train if you announce feature X on the next update and then have to delay it shortly before after? Really? Yes. You're literally the person who's in front of that train going choo-choo. That's tough, man. I don't know what to tell you. But don't take it too hard. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we're talking. Dev says, some people say thanks, others will attack me for taking holidays. Yeah, it's another ridiculous thing. Listen, people have families. Like I said, if your whole life is geared towards this game and this forum, I'm going to let you know that not everybody's life is that same way. People have responsibilities. People have, children, families, stuff they have to do outside of work. Because if you didn't know, the developers are technically workers. They work for a company. And if you've ever worked for a company, you realize that you need a good balance of work and also life to have a good life. If you focus too much on work, you will not have a good life. That's just how it works. So you have to take breaks. You have to take holidays. Yeah, that's how it works. Some will defend most development decisions. Others will take delays or shifts in content as lies, grifts, etc. As all communities is diverse. Yes. Yes, it is. Then he says, come on, man. How many people actually attacked you for taking your holiday? There's a tiny minority. That's not true at all. It's literally, I remember the holiday post, and there was a lot of people saying that, this is just an excuse. Why is he taking 2 weeks? Like, literally, what do you mean? People have done this. I've seen it. Plenty of people memeing. Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay, he states, the player states, and not having an idea what is coming. They're not obligated to tell you everything that's coming, man. I don't know how to tell you this, you know. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but shoot, it's not a requirement in development to be like, we have to say every single thing that's coming. It's not a requirement, you know. It would be cool, I guess, you know, for some people who want it, but it's not required. I don't know how to explain it. They do have an idea of what's coming, though. That is true. Again, they have the future post. They have the idea of what the big changes are. Just the little changes surprise you, and sometimes I like surprise. I don't know. I like surprises. I don't know. I guess it depends on the person. Patches are progressing towards these goals. Yep, certainly there are other additions here and there, but it's a hard sell that you don't have any idea of what is going on. Exactly. It has been stated in development videos. There's been a bunch of those in the future post. Been, you know, it's there if you look for it. And I'm pretty sure the people who are on the forums all day are pretty familiar with stuff is, you know. What is this? Okay, he continues, the player, and not really knowing what will make it to the next patch, and then having to kind of guess what might be included if we are lucky. Not just the more general list of the future / desired planned features. You're far from dumb, you know this. Lol. Bro, why are you sitting here thinking about the future changes in the next patch? Sorry, that sounded kind of harsh, but like, but like for real, man. Just, you know, I don't know. See, I don't know how, like, you read the future post, you see what's coming, you kind of have in your mind what you think might come, and that's it. That's just what happens. You don't gotta go too, you know, micro into, you know, I don't know if micro is the right word. You don't gotta go that hard into that, if that kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to explain it. Yeah, and he's just arguing over semantics. Yep. He said, I'd like a roadmap. Again, they have the future post. I'm right over here. Here's the whole thing. This is technically as good of a roadmap as I think people can get. You know, I know it's not the flashy, like, you know how other games do the roadmaps where it's like Q2 this, Q2, and it has like a lot of like little arrows and dates and all that stuff. I think this is better. It shows the major features off. It shows you either a picture or a little GIF, whatever you want to call it. And then it gives you a description. So I think it's pretty good, you know. And the past one that they made before this one, because they made this, I think this is the second iteration or maybe third, most of the stuff came out of that. You know, not all of it, but most of the stuff was made from that post. So this post, I think, is pretty reliable. Okay, just talking about some nice words. Good. While I understand developer frustration over what they think is unfair criticism or outright toxic trolling and dead baiting, this is not a legitimate reason to close down on information on upcoming content. Why not? Hey, look, man, I'm gonna keep it honest with you, man. Here's how I feel. I feel that people on the forums, they think that they are entitled to a lot more than they are entitled to. And not just in the forums, in other communities as well. It's kind of like similar to, how can I explain it? I used to be a server in restaurants, right? And people would come in. There would be the nice people. You know, they would come in. They would be nice. They would be respectful towards me. You know, if they needed something and I didn't see it, they would respectfully just ask, like, hey, can I have a little bit more of this? Can I, you know, boom. Usually I would try my best to get stuff, but they would be respectful. If stuff took a little bit too long, again, they would be respectful. If there was a mistake on my part, again, they would be respectful. And those respectful transactions were great. But then you had, and usually even the respectful people, they treated me right, and even, you know, at the end they tipped me very good. You know, I live in America, so there's a tipping culture, but, you know, it was a good experience for everybody. And then there were people who came in expected, you know, way too much, expected that I was going to get them extra of everything, extra of this, extra of that, which I couldn't even do. They expected to eat half the meal and be like, oh, I don't like it, let me get change something else. Oh, I don't like it, let me not pay for this. You know, and it's just like, they expected me to just always just smile on my face and be like, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Which, you know, in some places that I've worked, they have been that way. But as I've grown older, you know, because I started when I was a teenager working at restaurants, I realized that no, we're not required to keep going, yes, sir, of course, you got it, you got it, every time you try to be as disrespectful as possible. So if you can't keep the conversation respectful, don't expect the other person to be like, oh, yes, of course we'll do that for you, of course. It's not how it is. And to be honest with you, the devs in this situation, they still are being respectful to even the disrespectful people. I personally would not be. You know, that's just me. It is what it is. I wouldn't be. If you can't keep respectful on your side, I'm not going to do it on my side. That's just how it is, you know. Unfortunately, you could be like, oh, that's not right. It doesn't matter to me. The dev states, to me, the reason is more along the lines of less careful communication has caused frustration, disappointment, so let's communicate more carefully. I also personally don't like making promises on things I'm not sure of and don't have a high degree of control over, okay? Then he states, it is a duty of developers to disregard the worst and sometimes emotional feedback. No, it is not. That is something you made up in your head and you think that holds some value. I'm going to keep it honest with you. No, it is not. If this is the case, then it's also the duty of the players and the fan base to keep it respectful and not, you know, go into a frenzy every time they don't get what they want. You know, there you go. I made my own statement to it. Just saying. This sounds like just like a statement you thought of and you were like, damn, that's good. That's good right there. Again, you want respect, you have to be respectful. That's how it is. And then he states it really isn't. There you go. Just like that. An employee's duty is to fulfill their contractual obligation. Yep. Everything beyond that is what they do on top. Yep. Those obligations include a reasonable conduct when interacting, but there's no general obligation to interact. Yep, very similar to when I was a server. When I first started, I thought I had to always be like, yes, sir, of course I'll do that. Of course, keep stepping on me. I'll keep doing it. But then as I got older, I realized that if people treat me disrespectfully, I will just not do all the extra stuff that I used to do for them. Because guess what? That's what it is. That's what you get, you know? It's a two-way street. That's the best way to say it. Okay, so this guy just... Okay, no, I'm going to disregard everything he says at this point. It is what it is. So Tailworld's opinion is that it's better to withhold information because some people might get mad. Nope, that's not what he said, and that's literally what he just said as well. That's not what he said. He said, if we go back up here, before everybody, you know, goes crazy, I also personally don't like making promises on things I'm not very sure of and don't have a high degree of control over. So you read that, and then you said that. How? You read the reason why, and then you were like, so actually, no, it's this reason. No. You read the reason. I read the reason. Let's keep it honest, all right? Let's keep it honest. Let's not derail here. Why have an EA at all if you don't want to community involvement? There has been community involvement. There's been plenty of community involvement. The community has joined in a lot of changes that's happened, a lot of play testing that's happened, and literally every single patch they've released, the feedback is community involvement. You know, people playing and then giving their feedback of the patch is community involvement. You know? Like what? He says there have been a number of closed tests, open tests, clear and obvious developer community interactions. Yep. What else do we got? Jesus, I want to kind of quit this video, to be honest with you. It's again kind of derailed. It is not the community. Okay, so there's another player saying it is not the community that is at fault, but leadership of Tailworlds. False. Developers just get caught in the crossfire. You can't deny as much as you want, but I'm not gonna say false just yet. I want to see what else he has to say. You can deny as much as you want, but with professional studio, the tempo and content updates are too small. And again, you are not to blame, but your bosses. But see, I don't even know if this is good discourse to have, because it's like, okay, so what is he supposed to do if that is the truth? Is he supposed to rile up against his boss? He's gonna get fired. Like, like, come on. Yes, some people in leadership might disagree with certain changes developers might think is right and all that. I get that. It is what it is. I think for sure, sometimes the devs might be right over the leadership, but this this is a very tricky situation to kind of be like I don't know how to explain it. People getting mad in the forums is not going to change the situation. Is the best way I can say it. It's not going to change the leadership. Leadership's not going to be like, oh my god, look at all these people saying this on the forums. Maybe we should just quit. It's not going to happen. So I'll leave it at that. So you're going to address the problems submitted by the multiplayer players. He says, I don't play multiplayer, so I don't generally comment on development for one. I don't really know all the problems submitted. Okay, and I think that about does it. Let's see if I refresh it. Do we got any more stuff? Oh my god, we got more stuff. Well, just a little thing. Then the player says, are we playing the same game? And then he states, if you're playing single player, we do. If you play multiplayer, we don't. That's a great way to end it. Listen, guys on the forums and guys in other communities that feel like hurt by the development for some reason, take a step back. Get up a little bit from the computer, do a little few stretches, get a notepad out, write like a little diary entry. You know what I'm saying? Like just a little entry. It doesn't have to be a diary. It could be just like notes. How's life going? How's this going? How can I improve this in my life? How can I improve that in my life? Take some time off the computer. Take some time off. See if you can, go out there. Maybe, find a hobby. Find something to, interest yourself in. A way to improve yourself. And trust me. And then come back a little bit later on when the patch comes out. And, yeah. Trust me. It's good to have a lot of different things to do instead of being full in on the forums or any community you're in. Balance is good. So yeah, I suggest that some of you guys find some more balance. All right, but like always, this has been quite the thread. It's been kind of nonsensical, but it is what it is. We're gonna go from there, and I'll see you guys in the next one.